welcome to another episode of Nobody Asked Us with Des and Kara, presented by Brooks Running. We're obviously out here in Tokyo, and what a day for some Brooks athletes on these opening rounds. How you been, Kara?
I've been good. I heard you got some good training in today, and that made me so happy.
I did. I been staying on like the East Coast time zone, so I wake up like 2 or 3 a.m., have some food, and then I went for my run. Got 12 miles in.
That's good.
Found a nice place to run. I was like, okay, like I'm in my rhythm now.
Yeah.
So that was good.
So you've been crashing at night a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So any evening stuff that you want to go deep on, you're going to have to carry the load.
That's fine.
But yeah, no, I have tickets, and the first night I was like, oh, I'll see you guys there. Like I didn't have good intentions. It's a lie. I'm going to say it. I was like, I'm going to sleep immediately.
Yeah.
And then I set an alarm to watch the women's 10. I went back to bed. But last night I made it to the track.
Good job.
I watched 100-meter prelims, and like by the end of them, I was like
head
doing
bobbing.
the thing.
Yeah.
So I zipped back. I was like, I want to see the men's 10, but I can't do it here. Like I just can't. So I got back, took a shower, turned on the 10, watched 23 and a half laps, and then like woke up with my face on my laptop sometime later and like watched back the final lap and a half, and I was like, oh, that was so exciting. Like it was so exciting.
It was exciting.
But I was tired enough that I fell asleep during it.
It's hard because you're trying to train. You definitely care about the morning stuff.
Yes.
So you have to be up for the morning, where like my schedule is kind of the opposite. I'm not training, and we're not covering any morning stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to just be ready for the nighttime.
Right.
But
when you need to be on, you need to be on.
I need to be on.
Yeah.
But I can't sleep.
Yeah.
I'm like so sleep deprived. I'm not going to lie. Like I get back here and I'm like on a high, and I've taken caffeine for the broadcast and like ketones, and I'm like on a high, and then I'm like trying to get to bed. Like today my plan was to sleep till like 8 or 8:30.
Yeah, sure.
At 6:15 I was like, hey, anybody want to go for a run? And so I'm a little bit worried because it's only day 3.
Yeah.
But at some point, as you were saying, I'll probably adjust in the next like 4 days, crush it for 2 days, and then go home and have to start all over
Just
again.
in time to head home. That's how it works. Yes, absolutely. And that's we have this partnership for these episodes with Ketone IQ, which is great for mental clarity, keeping you up, keeping you sharp. There's some with caffeine, some without. And normally what we would do is crack one and drink one together. But because these are a hot commodity, a precious item right now.
They're a hot commodity on the NBC crew.
I'm not going to take one of yours.
You can't take it. So I brought like enough for myself to have extras, but Otto loves these.
Yeah.
And he's been using them for years, but he's never had a flavored one.
Oh, okay.
So I gave him one, and then last night he's like, Ms. Goucher, how many of those do you have? Like, do you have like a whole, like how many more do you have for the rest of the meet? And I was like, I've got, like I'm a dealer.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we could up the price. I do have one more box. And now I feel even worse about the ones I threw away. Like, oh my gosh, should have been good money.
Well, it definitely helps me. Maybe it doesn't help me sleep, but it helps me be alert for the broadcast. So it's necessary.
And you don't have to pay the Tokyo black market price. You can go to the website in the show notes and get, I believe, the 30% discount code.
Off a subscription.
Yes.
Yeah.
So check it out.
Definitely worth doing.
See if it works for you.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Thanks Ketone IQ for being good to us out here.
Yeah. Well, how have you been talking with Ryan? What's he up to back home?
Texting here and there. I got a ton of pictures of him fishing. He took the dogs out on the boat.
Nice.
He sent me the sunset shot tonight, and it was like a sailboat in like the most beautiful sunset. And he was like, "It's awesome!" And I'm watching the marathon at the same time. I'm like, that sounds amazing.
That sounds great.
Sounds pretty perfect.
That does sound great.
Not that this isn't great. It's just been it's just been warm.
It's been so warm. And I knew it would be, but yesterday especially, and I'm worried about tonight because we've had a lot of sun. The first night there was a lot of cloud cover during the day, so it was very, very hot, but not as intense. But I don't know how the athletes are doing it because we're standing in the booth like to do a quick on camera. And literally they're counting us down and they're toweling all of our heads.
Yeah.
Because that's how quickly you start sweating. And the athletes are out, like, I see them all warming up in their warm-up suits. Right. And I'm thinking, why?
I mean, it goes to show like the protocol that these athletes have dialed in. Like everyone has it so specific these days, and it's so like next level.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're doing it. They're making the adjustments, and it's like if you've been preparing for this for a long time, you're like, yeah, I need my sweats.
Right. Yeah.
It's part of the thing, you know? Like, okay, you do you.
I'm like, you don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been good. It's been hot. Last night was so hot.
Do you feel like I feel like the evening, I guess maybe because you're anticipating the evening to cool off some and it just doesn't, but it's almost a little worse.
It jars me every time because I hang out in my hotel room for like a few hours before I have to go over. And my hotel room is nice and cold.
What's the temperature at?
21 degrees Celsius.
Okay, I'm at 20.
Oh, geez. Okay, well, still,
I throw on a jacket when I'm in there.
Yeah, I like have a sweatshirt on. I have long socks I put on when I'm just hanging out in there. I have like sweatpants and everything. But then I'm always like, ooh, it's, you know, I have like a jacket in my bag that I leave in there. I have never as soon as I walk out, I just get hit with it. And I'm like, oh, geez, it's hot.
It's dumped rain a couple of mornings and like I'll pack a jacket, like you said, like a, you know, waterproof. And then I'm like, I would rather just get wet from the rain because I'm not putting this on.
Totally.
Clammy as heck.
Totally.
Sticky. Well, I think that we've seen temperatures, heat, humidity impact all of the races, and it's been great racing so far. You want to get into it? Some highlights?
Let's get into it. Yeah, okay, let's think. So the first night, what happened? Women's 10,000 happened the first night.
Did. It kind of went to form, no?
It went to form. It was, you know, watching it, I'm just thinking, Gudov's a guy. So some people argue with me that I'm dumb and that Gudov's a guy has a better kick than Chibet because she can run a faster 1500. But how does she beat Chibet in the 1500? She's ahead of her the whole time, pressing,
grind it down,
grinding. She runs 351. Chibet runs 354. She doesn't have that change of gears. It's just like Ingebrigtsen.
Right.
Ingebrigtsen can grind out 326, but he can't sit and then kick. You
have to set the dial to pain, and leave it there for as long as possible, and then try and kick off that, which is very different than like what's your raw speed.
Exactly. So I'm watching the race thinking, Gudov's the guy is hunting behind Chibet, and in that situation, I think you have two choices. One is you go with 4 laps to go, or whatever you've decided, 2K to go, 5 laps to go, and you're all in, and you never look back, and you make her hurt so bad that she decides it's not worth it. Or you stick to her until you make the final turn.
Right.
But you can't, but she ended up going with like a lap and a half to go, and it's
like right in between.
It's not going to work.
Done nothing really.
And so I maybe Gudov's the guy is just so good, but Beatrice Chibet is just unbeatable. And maybe that is just the reality of it.
Right.
But I would love to know what's going through people's minds. And she still ran great. She ended up with a bronze.
Yes.
Like, listen, I'm being like super high level.
That's okay. Like it's not a terrible day. A lot of people love that.
But she's back in the 5,000, and she'll be against Faith Kipyegon and Beatrice Chibet. And I'm just curious to see what she does.
Do you shake things up, or are you just like, this is who I am?
I think she just needs to. I think she needs to go from the gun, or if she really thinks she can outkick them, don't go with 600 to go.
Right.
Go. When did Beatrice Chibet go? At the 200, especially 150. Do that. You know, just be ready. Wait, and go for it. But were you surprised to see Nadia Badocleti with the silver?
Not particularly. I think she ran great in Paris last year, and she was just someone. Well, that's not totally true. I guess I wasn't surprised to see her medal. I was surprised that she snuck in for the silver, but I don't know. I mean, and she did race to win, but also sometimes you are able to sort of consolidate and be like, okay, let's just make sure I get into the medals, and then you see that extra carrot because someone else committed in a bigger way to the win, if that makes sense, you know. And that's what it looked like. It was like, oh, this is a product of the racing that was for the win, but I'm going to take every carrot that I can get.
What surprised me was that was a national record, and that was the most yo-yoing race.
Right, like how fast can she go?
Slow, fast. Yeah, like she could just like annihilate a race. I watched an interview with her afterwards. I did not know who she was before Paris. I'm just going to admit it. Like she was in my notes, but I'm like, okay, this Italian chick, sure. And then she closed on Chibet in the 10,000 Paris, and I was like, oh, okay, so she's like for real. First she finished 4th in the 5,000, and then she came back in the 10,000. I was like, okay, she's real. But we don't see her race really on the Diamond League circuit.
Right.
She races more regionally. And so even though I knew she was in good shape, she hasn't run a 10K since Paris.
Just
this
don't
was
know.
only her 4th 10K ever.
That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, the first one she ever did, she said European champs, which she won, Paris and here. So she's also going to be in the 5,000. So I wonder, like, will she try something? Because now she's won 2 silvers. Will she try
What's the
something?
next level up.
Yeah, and see if she can flip the script on Chibet some way.
What would you do if you were her? Like, what do you think?
I mean, she's so young, but she's obviously really good. And Chibet, like, moved and opened up a little window, but then it never got bigger. So I don't know. Maybe I would try to, like, maybe run a very similar race where she just sort of shadowed whoever was in the lead. But maybe with 200, I would go.
Right.
Because once Chibet went and she reacted, the lead never got any bigger. If anything, it got a tiny bit smaller.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think of like Whiteman in the 1500 in Eugene, where it was like from 300 out, and everyone's like, no, nobody does that.
Right.
Why would? And it was so decisive,
Yep.
and it just created that space that was enough.
Yeah.
So it is like an element of catching people off guard might be enough.
Yeah.
So
And then Agnes Nadich, I think, is she back for that too, for the 5?
Great
Actually, I shouldn't
question.
speak. I actually don't know. But the women's 10, the results were basically what I thought. Nadich was my dark horse, but she ended up doing so much leading.
yeah,
She ended up 4th. But the way it played out was a little bit surprising. Like, they were so slow, and then they picked it up and it broke the race open, but they didn't pick it up crazy.
right.
And they started running like 73s, which
bit of
is fast
attrition.
and it's hot. Yeah. But I was surprised that really broke it open, and then they settled again. And actually you could start to see people making their way back, but then, then the closing came.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's stick with finals only. How do you feel
Okay.
about that? Or we can get into men's 15s because those are interesting. But let's do marathon. How'd you feel about that? Did you watch it?
I watched. Well, I followed it like on my phone.
Yeah.
And through the app, and then I went out to catch them when they had about 800 to go. I was not surprised to see Susanna Sullivan leading.
I feel
We
like we
talked
called
about that.
that, yeah.
We talked
Yeah.
about that. What I was super impressed with was that she got rolled up, and it's so hard at that point
Yeah.
not to crumble.
Right.
And she fell back a little bit, but when I saw her with 800 to go, she looked good.
Yeah.
And she was like flying, like she looked totally in control. And so I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's just shows that she was following her own plan.
Yep.
It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to do something crazy to try to blow this thing open. I'm trying to sneak away to win this. It was just like, this is the plan I have for my best race. And when they come by, like, I will respond the way I need to. That fits into exactly what I'm doing out here. And like, she never deviated from that. And I agree. I thought like when they went by her, it's like, okay, how far back will she slide?
Right.
And like, I immediately looked at Jess and was like, oh, she could be top 5.
Yeah.
But then Susanna just latched on.
Yep.
And like, she just was super gritty. So I think she ran, when you look at it and you're like, oh, she's way out front. What is she doing? She's not being patient. She's taking unnecessary risks, whatever. I think she ran her race really strategic and smart for 20 to 22 miles.
Yeah.
And then just ran really gritty, which is
Yeah.
kind of the ultimate marathon game plan, right?
Yeah.
So I thought it was brilliant racing. She ran super well.
I saw her today, and she told me that she always knows that, like, there's these voices in her head that people go, what is she doing? She wasn't even good in college, this or that. And she said, I knew they were coming. But she's like, worked so hard to like silence those voices, and be
Yeah.
like, I do know what I'm doing. I'm running my race. So I thought that was such a cool response when she said that to me today. And she did say, I think those last couple miles will haunt me. Because
Yeah.
I think, I think we can all say she had a great chance at getting the bronze medal. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you have to get to that level for it to be like now those voices are dead. You belong here. You're one of the best runners in the world.
Yeah.
And, of course it would have been so awesome if she had gotten bronze, but
Right.
she ran so great.
But I think it's an interesting thing too, where so many in that chase pack were burned off because they had to be aggressive and chase her down, and that lead was so big. So if she doesn't go out the way she did, which was 113 at the half, that's reasonable. But if she doesn't create that gap, do you have way more, like what we saw in the men's today, do you have way more players late in the game where it becomes a matter of chance or kick or things like that?
Right.
It's like she was part of whittling down that field to that thin number at the end because they had to run so aggressive. So
I thought, like, as I was following it, I thought I was in the stadium watching the men's 15, so they had the video up in there. And I remember I texted Garrett and I was like, Jess McLean is in perfect position. I think she could get a medal. She just needs to stay patient. But I do think maybe she was leading that chase pack for a long time, trying to get back to Susanna. And I think maybe that took a little bit out of her. I haven't had a chance to talk to her yet. But these are all things you learn.
Yeah, and hindsight's super easy to critique.
It's so easy to be on the outside and be like, well, maybe
they should have ran with the women who got third. Like, well, okay. But it's their choices that kind of dictated the race that allowed that kind of surprise bronze medal to happen. And I don't think gold and silver were surprised.
I mean, that's the thing is, it was a good field, but Perez Shipchurcher won the Tokyo Olympic Marathon. Asafa silver in Paris has run 2:13.
She's okay.
She's pretty good, you know. So I don't think that those two pulling away. I was a little surprised at some of the other women that like folded kind of early on. But I will say, third place shocked me.
Yeah.
Right?
Do we have the name? I mean, I looked her up. The story is slowly rolling in.
Videos with her yesterday. She's
McCurdy
awesome.
trained athlete, went through the NCAA system at Arkansas.
She ran somewhere else first, then went to Arkansas after COVID.
And now is in Flagstaff.
Yeah, this is only her second marathon. Wait, Chris, can you please give us her name? I know it, but because last night
I want to commit to Juliet, but
Julia, maybe? I feel so bad. Julia Pentronetti. She...
Petronet? I think it's just Petronen. Petronen?
Okay. Julia Petronen. She ran freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But, I mean, one of my biggest takeaways from this championship is going to be her finishing and being like, wait, am I actually third? And, like, what just happened? Like, she didn't even know that she was in third because she was, like, behind and then she was just slowly catching people and she didn't know how many people were in front of her. And then she wasn't even clear where the finish line was.
Right. I mean, that's such a rewarding moment for a very patient marathoner who just keeps fighting for every single spot.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like when she went through, I don't know, it was like 15K. I think it was in 30th or 40th place or something like that.
Yeah.
And you don't know who's dropping out. You don't know who's stepping off. You don't know exactly how many people you've passed. So when you're in those situations and you're the hunter, it's like you just have to believe that you could find that top spot and it could come back to you. And so I think that's a person who just like, she never gave up.
Yeah.
But she didn't necessarily know what she was chasing. It was just like, I just want to have my best day.
Yeah.
And then she finds out at the end because it's like, I've lost count of, what the lead looks like.
I saw this interview. I'm probably not going to say it exactly right, but she was like, my C goal was to just like run and have a good experience. My B goal was top 30, and then like my A goal was I nail everything and I'm in the top 10. And, she ends up getting this historic bronze medal. It was really cool. And so those kind of moments are so fun. And those kind of moments can happen at championships like this.
Right.
Where it's the year after the Olympics. I don't want to say the field's weaker. I don't want to do that. It's just different. And the weather is bad. And it's if you're a little bit more mentally tough and you're a little bit more willing to like be in a dark place, like something cool can happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we're going to see a lot of names that were not predicted or not on the favorites list. Some surprises here.
Yeah.
And I think that that's again like the product of what you said is the string of championships in such a long time. A little bit of Olympic fatigue, but also the conditions. And it's like the people who manage the conditions really well and don't let it get to them have an opportunity that's not always there.
Right. I am wondering, I had this thought yesterday, and then the men and women's 100 were really fast, so it kind of ruined my theory. But I was wondering if with all these back-to-back championships, we know this track is fast. It was super fast in Tokyo, but remember, Tokyo is the first championship in a long time, right? And so I've had this thought of maybe we haven't seen a fast distance time yet at this meet. And granted, there's just been semis and preliminary rounds, but I wondered if maybe the times at this championship won't be as crazy as they've been the last few years because people are just tired. But
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not.
I'm going to go with humidity, but
Yeah.
I think fatigue is probably there as well.
Yeah.
I think strategy is different too. Like, I guess we can go into the men's 15 prelims where there was some big surprises there.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys who like to go to the front and press and make it honest and fast they didn't get through. So now the
Right.
strategy might look very different. Time might come back to earth a little bit.
Right.
But who's the best kicker? Who's the most strategically sound? Those things will kind of factor in, which is something we haven't seen in a while since
Yeah. I just
2016,
remember in the
2018.
Tokyo Olympics, all of the rounds were crazy fast. Like they
Yeah.
were breaking the Olympic record in the rounds, right? And granted, the men's semis are tonight, so we don't know. But it's just, I think the athletes that are feeling excited and sharp obviously are at such a huge advantage over athletes. Like I'm starting to think the athletes that didn't have a long season this year,
Yep.
and really like took a rest and really took a reset, knowing this was going to be so late, are going to have a better championship. Yeah.
We're also, I think, seeing a little Grand Slam fatigue.
I mean, it's hard to know for sure, but I don't know for sure. But
Fair enough,
hey, this
yeah.
is called Nobody Asked Us, so
Yeah.
we can actually say whatever
Throw
we
out our
think.
theories.
I think Nugus looked a little tired at the U.S. Championships. He had raced a lot more before that. I think, and we'll get into the men's 10, I thought Grant Fisher ran a perfect race yesterday, perfect positioning the whole time. And with 200, I'm like, he's going to take it. And then in the last 100, he just looked flat,
Yeah.
and he's raced a lot more than he normally does. And so, but, Cole Hawker ran Grand Slam, Josh Kerr ran Grand Slam. So I think we're still figuring it
Yeah.
out.
I'll
yeah.
say something about those two, though, that's I think is interesting, is they both came out pretty flat in Grand Slam,
Yep.
or I think Hawker stayed pretty flat in
Yeah.
Grand Slam. Like,
Yep.
he was very clear that this is not my priority.
Right.
I'm using this to help me get through I'm using this for a paycheck /
Yep.
to help me get through the championship, but this is not the main thing for my year. And he never let it change his training
That's
or what he
very
was trying
true.
to accomplish.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll see how that factors
So do you want to
in.
go into the men's heats yesterday? So they were taking place during the women's marathon, and Adrian Hobbs of France, who ran 3:27 earlier this year, didn't get through. I wasn't really surprised. He never seems to have a
Seems
good
like-
championship.
yeah.
And he hit that time so early in the season.
Right.
It was like,
Where'd that come from and why?
yeah, like
Why
we're
so
a little
early?
bit ready too
Yeah.
early. But still a blow to him, I'm sure. And then Fanuel Koech, who's run so well this year, was a definite medal favorite from Kenya.
Young man.
Won a bunch of diamond leagues.
Yeah.
He fell. And I was shocked that I was watching it and I was like, oh, they're going to move him on. One of the
Right,
semis
this
will
is
have
the
13 because
appeal.
he fell basically right as they started the last lap. And he got taken out.
Yeah.
And then he got up and popped up and kept running. Like he didn't jog it in or go, what the heck?
Right,
you
I'm
know?
racing still.
Yeah.
I'm
And so I was sure he would get in, but he didn't. So I don't know what the story is. I don't know if they didn't file a protest. I can't imagine why he wouldn't do that.
Right.
And granted, this was just from my eye because I wasn't calling it, so I couldn't replay it or anything. But it seemed like he got tripped from behind.
Impeded, right.
Yeah. It seems like they've been super generous in advancing people.
Yeah.
In the past, so I'm shocked that he didn't advance.
That was surprising, and he was definitely a contender, a favorite. Not
Absolutely.
maybe a favorite.
Like a
he's
favorite
run
to be in the
incredibly
medal hunt.
fast this year.
Yeah, and he's young and doesn't have a lot of experience, but he's been running super fast.
Right.
And then, of course, the other one is Jakob Ingebrigtsen was out there. He went straight to the back, which he normally does.
Did it feel different though? Was it like, I'm happy to be back here, not like I'm positioning myself here to make a
at
statement?
first I was like, still believe
Classic.
in it's Ingebrigtsen.
Yeah.
You can take him out for a year. Doesn't freaking matter. And remember, he ran a world record indoors this year,
Right.
so it's not like he's like, oh, he's over. He lost everything.
That's it. He's done.
Yeah. But then he went to try to move with 600 to go, and it was kind of labored.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought when he moved out, I was like, oh, he's just going to go by everybody. And he kind of labored and caught one or two people. And I was like, oh, no, he's actually not in shape. I mean, he's in shape,
Right.
but not to
what
be
you
here.
Need to
yeah.
be at the World
And
Championships.
it was sort of sad, but also refreshing.
I was going to say that. It's
It turns out he's human.
the guy's human.
Yeah.
And also kudos for showing up even
Yes.
though you're not 100%. If you're just the guy who's like, okay, I'm not going to race unless I know I can beat everyone or I can set the record. Or he knew it was a gamble. I mean, he's been posting gambling videos.
Right.
Like, it was no surprise.
Right.
And sometimes you get the bad end of the stick, but short end of the stick, I guess.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think he said he was going to come back and try to make the final in the 5,000, which his training is better suited for the 5,000.
Yeah, that's what he's been pretty vocal about. Like the things that are missing are the sharpness, the speed, and we'll see.
Yeah.
You need that in the 5K, but he'll have to change his tactic a little bit because he's a guy who just waits.
Right.
So
yeah, I think it removes him from favorite status, definitely.
Which is not a terrible thing.
No, that's why I was kind of high on him for this meet, because I was like, we don't know. He's always the favorite. Everyone knows. They're like, well, I'm going to wait until this when I'm, Ingebrigtsen's going to bring me out, and at 300 or at 200 or at 100, I'm going to go buy him.
This is how I surprise Jakob.
You guys have to think a little bit.
Figure it out.
You guys have to think, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So tonight are the semis, and we'll see who gets through. I do think Jonah Koech of the U.S. looks good. Cole Hawker looked very calm. Josh Kerr looked great. Jake Whiteman looked great.
That was a surprise for me. I think that's like perfect timing. He hasn't really had a flashy year at all, but he looked like
good.
Eugene Whiteman.
Yeah. And I loved Ethan Strand's interview after. He was just like, that was so effing hard. And I love that he was honest about it. And he's like, that was a disaster. It was so much harder than I thought it was going to be. He made it through.
Yeah.
But I love that he wasn't just like, oh, yeah, no, whatever. He
got this.
Yeah, like I'm becoming an Ethan Strand fan. He was like, that was so hard. Like that was really difficult. And I'm so relieved I got through. And so all the Americans got through. So tonight are the semis. We'll see what happens there.
I think it's a good learning curve, like just fast-paced learning for Strand. I think going through the rounds and getting familiar with like real international racing.
Yeah.
And it's going to be more aggressive. It's going to be choppy and tactical, and learning that stuff quickly. Like we'll see in the semis what he changes, what he adapts, what he improves. And if he can make it to the final, I mean, it's like the young kid in the 800. Like, if you're there, you have the shot. You know? And then it's not about survive and advance, which is a different game than run as hard as you can and try to win.
Yeah. Well, the finals are set for the women's 1500, which will be tomorrow.
Okay.
And Sinclair Johnson from the U.S. and Nikki Hiltz both made it through to that. Faith Kipyegon looked
like Faith,
like she was bored. Jess Hull looked really good. Pretty big news that Welteje from Ethiopia is out.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly the status, but she either refused a test or tampered with the test. I'm not sure. Appealed it to CAS. So she was put on a provisional suspension, appealed it, and CAS denied her appeal. So she is out, and she was definitely a medal favorite.
Yeah, shakes it up quite a bit.
Shakes it up a lot.
Open things up.
Hailu from Ethiopia looked really good to me yesterday. She went down hard and got up and got back in, like slowly got into the pack and ended up being like at the front of her semi. And I'm pretty sure she won her first round. So she looks good. Nelly Chipchurcher looked really good through the rounds. Trying to think of who like stood out for me. I guess that's it. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, but like the players are in the final.
They're all there.
They're all there. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we had the men's steeple, which there were so many falls in the men's steeple.
Yeah, it was wild.
Like Jordy Beamish, it was insane. So has so many injury issues, super talent, right? But has a lot of injury issues. 2023 was his first year ever running the steeple. He gets 5th at the World Championships. Then he wins the World Indoor 1500 meter title in kick. He outkicks Cole Hawker, right? And I was like, he's going to medal in Paris. And then he gets injured, doesn't make the final in Paris. He's running, and I'm like, he looks really good. He was in the back, but he looks really good. And like right as I said that, he moves out to go towards the front, and then he freaking falls, spike on his face, spike on his leg, and he pops up and like just slowly works his way back and makes the final.
He was methodical.
And
was like,
ends up almost winning the heat. Like he could have won it if he wanted to.
Yeah.
He was like, brushing his shoulder off as he crossed. So he in my mind is a definite threat for a medal.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I think we saw the surprise with Kenneth Rooks last year, and it's like, yeah, there's the names that you go like, of course, but you're not going to just hand it over.
Right.
I think he's a guy who, obviously, if he's there with 200 to go, his kick is lethal.
Yeah.
Like it's probably I would say the best in the field.
I think it is.
I don't know how
I
it
actually
couldn't
think
be.
as long as he is within contact of Albacale, who's obviously the overwhelming favorite, he's going for 5 titles in a row tonight. He's going to have his hands full.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say it was so good to see Lemchik Girma out there. He
Yes.
fell in Paris and it was so scary. But he freaking
I know.
fell.
That's what I thought you were going to say. I was like, no, let's not do this again. Let's.
So yeah, at the top of the broadcast, I'm like, it's so like, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. That's one of the scarier things. I didn't bring myself into it, but it's one of the scarier things that I have ever seen in my life. Like, I didn't know if he was going to die that night. It was like terrifying.
Like, what did we just
Absolutely
watch?
terrifying.
Right.
Yes. What did we just watch? And he's back out here and he's looking good. He's moving up, and then he freaking clips his foot coming off the barrier and falls, and the whole stadium was like, you know, of all people. But he also worked his way back in and made it to the final. And Daniel Michalski from the United States was in that heat, and he was just like, it's his first global championship. He's like, I'm lined up next to Soufiane Albacale, you know, like the best, right? Like really the best ever as far as championship wise. And then there's Girma, the world record holder. And I'm just like, what am I doing here?
Cool. Fun to be here. But he didn't run like that. He ran like very savvy. He found his space. He was like, I don't want any trouble. And yeah, he just got the job done.
He got the job done. Yeah, I was really happy for him. He's like such a feel good story.
Yeah, for sure.
But Kenneth Ricks didn't get through. I kept thinking he was just waiting, because sometimes he does kind of go to the back and he doesn't always look fluid.
Yeah.
But then the move started to happen up front, and he didn't respond, and I just was like, "Ooh, no, something's going on there."
But I feel like that's kind of been indicative of his whole year.
Yeah.
Like he's been up and down all year long, and obviously he's a gamer and super talented. So at the championships, he's going to show up and make a team, of course.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't feel like you can fake it through the world championships.
No,
like it's just if something's off,
Yep.
like it just shows.
Yep. And Isaac Updike from the U.S. was also eliminated. So there's just one U.S. man in the steeplechase final. So, yeah.
Right. Do we do men's 10K?
No, we should do that.
We should do that.
So last night, I really thought that an American man was going to win a medal. That there's been American success in the Olympics. Billy Mills, obviously, Galen Rupp, Grant Fisher, but no American man's won a medal at the World Championships. And I hyped this in my mind so much. It's in Tokyo where Billy Mills won. It's like bad weather. The field is not quite as strong as it has been in years past. It's just a little more level. So I don't want to say wasn't as strong, but just a little bit more level. And I really thought like Grant Fisher has done everything to be ready for this. And Nico Young has had a little bit different approach where he didn't race as much as Fisher, but when he raced, he was like all in. Yeah, it was like he ran 12:45 and he,
the times were fast.
Yeah,
the
times were fast. The kick was good. And he was racing against really good competition.
Right.
And so I thought they had 2 different approaches to get here, but they're both ready to do it. And what did you think as the race was going on in the early stages?
I mean, I thought it was very savvy. Like the Americans were running where they needed to be. I mean, it's always who's going to lead. Is it going to be fast? Is it going to be slow? But you just look at their positioning, and they were covering the right things, but not overextending themselves to do something stupid. You know? So it seemed very savvy and calculated.
I thought so too. I thought Grant was running really clean. He was on the rail the whole time. Nico moved around a little bit, but then found himself like on the rail a little bit further back, but nothing scary because they weren't running fast. And, you know, some of the Japanese men went to the front and pushed a little bit, but nothing like terribly aggressive. And then as it started going on, I started to get nervous. And at one point I said on air, like, I'm starting to get nervous because when you leave it late, you may be the fastest 10,000 meter runner in the world, but when you leave it late, you might be leaving it for someone who you could beat by a minute and a half.
Right.
If you're rolling, but when you're leaving it cagey, he might outkick you.
Yeah. I mean, I always think that there's a move, and I say this sometimes when people get mad, but it's like, this is the move to separate the contenders from the pretenders. And it's not like a knock. It's just like, look, there's people on paper that are significantly better, and they should win this. But when you leave it to everyone, it becomes a game of chance too. Like you put that in the equation, which is so unnecessary if you're 2 minutes better than the rest of the field.
Right. When the bell lap, I could not believe how many men were there. It looked like the start of the race. It was insane. And at one point, Grant Fisher did kind of go to the front, and it looked like he was turning over, maybe with 4 or 5 laps to go.
Wind it up.
I thought this is it. I thought he was going to do exactly what you just said: separate the contenders from the pretenders and then settle back with like 2 laps to
Just
go.
something
Yeah, I
to,
thought he was going to take 3 laps and he's going to break it open till there's only 6 or 7 men left. And then he's going to gather and be ready for the fight down the home stretch. But he didn't end up doing that. And I just kept thinking someone has to go, someone has to go. And then the bell lap goes. And with 200 to go, I'm like, this is happening.
This is
Grant Fisher's been in perfect position the whole time. Nico Young starts coming on the outside, but Grant can hold him off, right? And I'm like, this is it. They're gonna medal. They played this perfectly. And then I didn't even see who got first, second, and third because my eyes were strictly on Nico and Grant. It's like the race finishes, and then I'm looking over at Paul, and he's like talk, and I'm like, I don't even know who won.
I don't know what.
And I knew that Gressier was a good kicker. He just won the Diamond League. He kicked past Grant Fisher. But guess what? It was a slow tactical race. And he ran in Paris where he set a national record last year and was 13th. And so I saw him throughout the race here and there, but I thought,
he's not the guy.
He's not the guy. And I didn't say, I should have mentioned him, but I didn't because I just kept thinking they're going to go and he won't be here.
Right.
But I would have never picked that podium.
Right.
Kajalcha from Ethiopia second.
I know. It kind of breaks your heart. I feel like he's due,
always
but he's
so
not.
close. But he's
you gotta do it.
You gotta do it. And then I'm blanking on his last name, from Sweden, who's had a great year, has set some European records. But I thought of you because the race ends. Now we're on to the hundreds. Everyone's hyped for the hundreds, and I am like just despondent. Yeah. And Otto was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Thought of you." I'm like, "This is like what Des is talking about with her sports teams, you know,
being
like,
a fan."
I'm not mad at Grant or Nico. I know they did the best they could, but I'm so bummed out. Yeah, I'm like, when will there be another opportunity like this?
Right.
Like, I'm so upset, and I was seriously thinking of you. I was like, this is it. This is what Des is talking about. Yeah,
caring too much.
I care too much, and like, I'm not even supposed to have favorites.
Impartial on air, but a human.
I'm human, yeah. Of course. I know one of Bill Spalding, who's new to the team. Well, he's not new to broadcasting, but to our team. He was like texting last night, like, I know you're sad, but it was fun to see how much you care, you know. But yeah, I connected with you, Des, because I just was so like nothing could cheer me up. I was just like, I just need to go back to the hotel room and eat some chocolate, and that's what I did.
Yeah, that'll do. That'll help. Doesn't fix it, but.
So I wonder if Grant, I haven't heard interviews yet from Grant or Nico. I haven't had the time to listen, but I wonder if they're thinking about, I have to make sure the 5,000 plays out differently.
Sure. I mean, I think that's what you do is you move on and you like look at what happened and then you set it aside, take the lessons, and then it's like the next thing is the next thing. I can't dwell on this, but I think when you look at Jimmy Gressier, did I say that right?
Gressier, yeah.
Gressier. Like, on paper, you're not picking him.
No.
It is a kicker. It's like the guy who put himself in there, gave himself a shot, and just held on. And when you see him have the gold, you're like, that could be me, him, any guy who's like always in it, but never had like just everything click on the right day. And so it feels, I think that's part of the heartbreak is you're like,
it was for the taking.
That was ours to have, it was theirs to have, and it slipped through our fingers. Those opportunities are so rare.
So rare. I know. I think Nico ran so well. He's so young. I can't remember what he was at the Olympics, but he was 5th last night, and he had great positioning with 200. Such great positioning.
I'll say, sorry, go ahead.
No.
I was going to say Nico's kind of trajectory right now reminds me a lot of Grant. Like Grant and Eugene, where it was just like, so close, and it's like he's right there. He's going to figure it out. So I think that this is a big moment where, I mean, it could be as quick as the 5,000,
right?
But I think it's his time has arrived.
I agree, and I do think there's been so much pressure on Grant Fisher. I read an interview where he said, "There's no way any outside pressure is more than I put on myself," which is super relatable, and I'm sure you feel that way too. But it is just a different stratosphere when it's like. You go from, and Jess Hull talked about this a little bit too, you go from wanting a medal so bad, like you don't care what color, you just want a medal. And then the next step is like, well, now I want to be the best in the world, right? And it just changes. And I think he's been open about, I want to win. I want to be the best runner in the world. And Jess Hull was talking about that a little bit too. Like last year I was just thrilled to get a medal, and now I want to be that person that's winning. So he worked so hard this year, and I think he took so many risks on, like, he set those 2 world records indoors. He did the Grand Slam to work on his tactics. He ran the 1500 at pre. Like, he put all of the tools in his tool belt.
Right.
And he did everything right.
Right.
It just didn't work out last night.
Yeah, and I think it's the thing that, like, hopefully you don't spend too much time looking at, but it's not like, okay, I need to tweak a few more dials. It's like next year's going to be a whole different ball game, and I promise you there's going to be some young guns who are hungry who are going to make that next leap. So the window is small. Yeah. And when you have those moments, like, you feel it, because it's like, Jimmy? You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Like, really?
I know. Afterwards, Trey Hardy's like, I texted you, Jimmy G, looking good. And I'm like, I didn't see it because I was calling the race live.
I was working.
And also, like, I know who he is, and I know he has a good kick. I just thought they were going to break it open more. And I was wrong, obviously. But I am glad that both Grant and Nico have the 5. Yeah. Because I think you can't obsess and be down in the dumps. You have to just, like, turn the page. There's a whole nother opportunity ahead.
Next day is the next day.
And they didn't run bad.
No,
just to be clear, they did not run bad. And Graham Blanks ran great too.
Yeah, that's the expectation now, right? Okay, you won a medal. Now you got to win. How do you win? When you like that's what it is. What happens, and you know, it's a good thing. That's what you want it to be, but it doesn't. I think people look at it as, well, anything else but winning is a disappointment. Right. And it's not. No. I mean, it's just, that's the stuff that's meaningful, and like, you attach your heart to it.
That's what you dream about, right? You don't dream about, like, oh, I'm going to get 8th. It's going to be so great. You dream about winning. Speaking of unknown names, should we talk about the men's marathon?
Sure. Speaking of contenders and pretenders, that was a big pack for a long time.
It was such a big pack. So I was just basically following it on my phone, and then hit them with, like 800 to go or something again. And at that point, Clayton was back in 9th, and the pack had broken up a little bit. But I just feel like at these championships so far in the men's races, it's like anyone's taking.
I love that. I mean, I think it makes them exciting, and it's like we haven't. What was the winning time? Yeah. Who cares?
Who cares?
Like, it was thrilling racing. Track is back. Track at the end of the marathon.
I know, right?
I love it. I love the finish, because you're like, okay, it's done. Like, it's separated. And then it's like that counter move, which is crazy. And you don't necessarily see that on the open road, because gauging the distance. Right. And like, everyone knows what that last 100 feels like at the end of the workout. And you're just like, I can find more. I can find more. I can kick down. And so I just feel like that's
such a good point.
So fun.
That's such a good point, because when Asefa and Shep Churcher entered the stadium yesterday, I went back and watched highlights. Mm-hmm. They both went to the arms, I think you're right. It's like feeling that track.
It's like, I can do 100. Here we go. I can do 400. Like, I know exactly how to run, backstretch, stay composed. And I think Asefa went too early. Yeah. And I almost wonder if she didn't know. And I talked about this with a friend. Like, maybe she didn't know where the finish was, because she looked like she sent it down the stretch. And I was like, oh, she didn't do enough. And it looked like she regrouped around the bend.
But that's when Shep Churcher was like,
she was like, no, I can do this. I've been waiting for 100 to go, because that's when I make my move. Because 5,000, 10,000, all of those years of that is like muscle memory. Yep.
And then in the men's race, it came down to that today too. I didn't see the finish because I was outside the stadium, but you were in there, and it was sprint
bonkers again. Yeah, and it was like, okay, this is done, and then you're like, no, he's got some more left. And honestly, I was just like, that's the worst. I know. Why couldn't you settle this in the last 26.1 miles?
I said. Like, there's nothing like running a marathon and then having to go literally change gears and become a totally different athlete to get on the podium. I mean, even to get on the podium, they're kicking for medals, but the top two,
yeah.
We saw Clayton Young go by. He ended up in 9th. He was with the front for a long time.
Run from him.
Super solid run.
I hope he's happy with it. Yeah. I think that the moves late were, sometimes you just don't have the legs to cover it. Mm-hmm. But he stuck his nose in it, raced really smart, raced really tough. Like, you could see him running the tangents and just getting free fitness and free time, because people were running wide, and he just was really savvy. So good for him.
And then Reed Fisher ended up 28th. We saw him go by. He looked like he was in the pain cave, but I don't expect anything less at that point in the marathon. And then we saw CJ go by. Didn't look like it was his best day. Yeah. But he was finishing, which is cool.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he got the job done, and I think he rounded out a really great Brooks team. Just really great Brooks representation. I mean, we didn't really talk about Erica Kemp either, and I think her finishing that was so cool.
I was going to say that. I do want to talk about that real quick, just because we've all had those days where everything is going so wrong, and it would have been so easy for her to just step off. But I think it says so much about her and what she's going to do when she gets that great day again.
Yeah.
Because if you can survive that when literally everything's going wrong and you have never felt worse in your life, wait till you feel halfway decent.
Was interesting connection with what Susanna Sullivan did in Budapest, where she led for a while, and then she found out later she had a broken kneecap, but she just limped through the thing. I mean, gets it done, but she's obviously not posting that time on the internet, being sweet day, had awesome time. And then she also struggled in London earlier this year, but she finished them both. And I think those moments are what help you get to that breakthrough,
for sure.
And it makes it sweeter when it happens. But also, we talk about this all the time, is the first time you DNF in the marathon and the
becomes
world doesn't
too easy.
crumble, it's
it's too easy then
fine.
to be if it's not going perfect, I'm just going to step off.
Right.
Yep.
So I was really pumped for her to get across the finish line, have that experience. And same thing with CJ, which he could have been I have Chicago on the schedule.
True.
Let's get ready for that.
And also, I think that the 3 American women, we've all had those positions. We've had a great day. We've had a pretty good day, but maybe we wish we'd done things a little bit differently. And we have a day that just sucked, right? And so it's that's all, they're all super relatable. We've all had those days.
Yeah, and I think all 3 of those athletes can share that story in a really great way. They can articulate it really well, and I think they will.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be back soon.
Very soon.
Tonight, for me to call, there's just men's semis and the men's steeple final, which we've talked about. But we're going to be back tomorrow morning, and we'll have some guests.
Live show.
So tune in live at 8 p.m. Eastern.
That's right. That's correct.
So join us on the YouTube channel.
Hit the Ketone link. Support the pod. Thanks,
I'll probably
Brooks.
be even more sleep deprived because I'm going to be taking this at 7 o'clock at night tonight. So
love it.
Yeah.
See you soon.